This is AARP meeting 11/4/25. In honor of an old-time contributor, I wanted to make sure there was something kinky in this report. I can't remember who suggested this, but
Somebody's
so first off,
bowing out.
what is kinky? Now, not to be gross about this, kinky is a legitimate category. There's a front side and a back side. There are passageways and openings, and occasionally something goes from the opening to the passageway, sometimes with a sort of a vibratory pulse. And then stuff accumulates in there. And then sometimes the master of the operation says, no more, you're out of here. That's the basis of kinky. So I want you to listen closely to see which topics you think are kinky. We don't have time for vote, but in historical terms, we would have had a vote. So the first thing is, can fecal transfer of feces reduce depression and aid the job of being a psychotherapist? Yes, the answer is yes. A meta-analysis of 681 patients showed the best in bowel disorders was achieved, but also normal people had improvement in their depression.
Where did they transplant?
You can read about this in Frontiers in Psychiatry. Transfer the feces from one person to the other, things get better. Kinky or not?
Is there, can I ask, any research on like constipation, depression?
That's not what this topic was about. I don't know the answer to that. That may be a matter of personal importance to several of us. If I come across that, I'll let you know. The next one, I came up with a cutesy title for it. It's called Shove the Oxygen Up the Butt.
Seem to have a theme going here.
If you think it's kinky, you can vote. So this is a new technique called enteral ventilation. So let's say somebody's having a case of severe respiratory failure. They get put on a ventilator. The ventilator causes further damage. So they're looking for another way to do this. So they said, well, if it's good from the top, maybe it's good from the bottom. Let's get the oxygen in from the bottom and see if it solves the respiratory problem.
Right.
You've tried it already? Okay, so they deliver oxygen to the intestine, and they do it by putting the oxygen on perfluorodecacolin, which is a fluid that has a high propensity for carrying oxygen. The oxygen is released into the bowel, and the bowel absorbs the oxygen. So there were 27 healthy volunteers, and this was a first trial just done for safety. It's safe and well tolerated. Look forward to oxygen shoved up your butt when you're older.
Sounds disgusting.
Think so?
Yeah.
There's ifs and buts, but there's no ands. Okay, next one is called the Komaiko toilet. First of its kind, came out of the University of British Columbia. So we can blame the Canadians for this one. So no water flow, no electricity, no plumbing, odor-free, uses mycelia, which is a root-like structure of mushrooms, together with some microbes, and it turns waste into compost. So protecting a national resource, because a third of the oxygen use, a third of the water use in usual households is from toilet maneuvers. Okay, so robots here, robots there. Where was your latest chance to see a robot?
On Broadway.
Yeah.
So Jewel Osco is doing a study out in the suburbs using robots in the stores market bananas. Bananas. Del Monte is sponsoring this. They're considering it as a test spot in preparing for a national rollout. The store's assessment is overall people like it. So if they say we got no bananas today, go to the robots.
You have to say yes first. Yes.
Yes,
have no-
we got no bananas today. Okay, so now a little bit clearer, kinky stuff. They have designed a spider-like object, which is actually a robot, so it's on topic. And it's called the intestinal robot. You get it? This is coming out of the University of Macau, which is the gambling capital of the world. So they're betting on this. So this is a micro device. It's put in the bowel. They control it with magnetic external controls. It can go anywhere they want. You can examine the bowel and presumably someday introduce a treatment. Superior access to the endoscope, which is a traditional method of examining the bowel, because there's no long cord or cable it's connected to. It can go where you send it.
So will that change colonoscopies?
That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
You can't even see it. It's so micro, but it's there. And Dan shows that slide because it's very demonstrative. Okay. Now, something which is value to all of us. Pain. Do you like your pain? Can you do without it? Okay, it turns out that's the Rogers Park version of an opinion about this. So the brain anatomy is very complicated. There's all these different regions and there's all these different kinds of neurons. But lately, they've discovered that the pain neurons are those which can be suppressed when the person is in crisis. So if you're hungry and starving, or if you think you're being attacked, something like that, the pain just goes away until the crisis is solved. So that gave them an entry point to study this. And what they found out is there's something called a Y1 receptor neuron, which are responsible for the control and onset of pain. And they're working on this. And the idea is if crisis can enter the picture and resolve it temporarily, maybe we can utilize this for our own purposes. Like pain, go away. Don't come back some other day, regardless of what Dan says. Okay.
I prefer my switch on pain.
That wasn't a crisis in most cases.
I'd much rather have.
Okay, opinions from the group.
Oh, I was supposed to sit there, but where you're sitting, say that.
Yeah. Okay, now this is something which is actually of use. It's been FDA approved. It's new. A new test for Alzheimer's disease to be run in your doctor's office, developed by Roche in concert with Eli Lilly. The test is called the p-tau 181. It's a blood specimen test. You don't. So they collaborate with Eli Lilly. The test is automated, and the negative predictive value. In other words, if you get a negative test, you rule out Alzheimer's disease. 97.9% of the time, which is very effective for testing dynamics. And the FDA has given it approval. So you will see this in use in your doctor's office, unless you want to have Alzheimer's, in which case you don't want to clarify the situation.
So could you go to your doctor's office now and request this P-Tau 181?
My guess is you could in some doctor's offices. It's just getting started. But if you're having the problem, you know, he can tell you where to go get it.
Maybe at
So it mostly rules out Alzheimer's. It's used to rule out Alzheimer's mostly then.
No,
And
it's
it's
just
97% accurate.
97.9% negative predictive value. So if the test is positive, that doesn't prove you have Alzheimer's, but you haven't ruled it out. So then it goes on to other things. Okay, friends, thank you for staying. Did I get the kinky